1 p.m. in our studios in Kukumlimle. If you are listening to us on the internet, it's probably on myjoyonline.com or via TuneIn. And many thanks for your attention today. We are continuing with the discussion on the Normalization Committee. It's not about the same old thing. In the past week or so, Asante Kotoko have tried to test the law. The Normalization Committee, led by Dr. Kofi Amoah, lets us know that because of the reforms happening in football in Ghana, they'd like for no Ghanaian teams to participate in African club competition. However, Asante Kotoko took a dim view of that and shoved the law into the faces of the Normalization Committee. Essentially, the Porcupine Warriors said that per the rules of the game, because they are the reigning FA Cup champions, the laws of CAF stipulate, the Confederation of African Football stipulate that in any event of a substantive winner in the ongoing season not being known, they, as by virtue of being the FA Cup winners, should be made the representatives of the country, and so they want to take their place. And well, the Normalization Committee looked at it, they looked at the law, and they decided that that was fine. However, a couple of other clubs were also laying claim to similar statutes, notably Medeama SE and Ashcold, who felt that per their positions on the Ghana Premier League table before the announced expose, which led to all football activity grinding to a halt, they must also go to Africa and represent. This morning on our sister station Asempa 94.7 FM, there was a chat with Lawyer Dua Donting, who is a member of the committee, and he acknowledged that Medeama will indeed go to Africa. Only for Dr. Kofi Amoah, the president of the committee, to come on the line and say that was not true. It led to a bit of contradiction, and that's how we start the show. We hear from Dr. Kofi Amoah on Kotoko going to Africa and other issues.
With all due respect to all the football owners and administrators and CEOs, we met and we talked, and we all felt to say, for the betterment of Ghana football, let's sit out. Football is run by statutes.
Yeah.
So if one person comes and points it out to you, oh, this is not wicked and we respect it, by this statute there or some there's nothing that we could have said that it is the right of the GFA to send Kotoko's name. And even though you are citing the statute, we still will not let you go because of what we said. But thinking deeper and deeper, we really don't see anything that will stop the normalization process. So we decided to let you go.
Dr. Kofi Amoah speaking there. So Kotoko definitely will go. We've seen a press statement even confirming that over the weekend, the last couple of days. We go to Kumasi to get some reaction and try to make sense of some of the things that have gone on since then. My name is Gary L. Smith. Welcome again to the Joy Sports Track.
Joy 99.7.
You can get us on Facebook and also on Twitter. Let's join Delali Atiase from our sister station in Kumasi, Love FM. Hello, Delali.
Yeah, hello, guys.
Thank you very much for your time. So, there had been some agitation from Kotoko fans, and I know that opinions were split. Some Kotoko fans felt that, the club doesn't have enough money to go to Africa at this stage, but others also feel like, who says the club doesn't have enough money? And if even they are to go to Africa and they won't win, as some would say, it doesn't matter because nobody always goes into competitions to win. What's the reaction in Kumasi now that we know that Africa is a place Kotoko will be in, definitely?
Well, I think that to say that the decision was split would have been, might not have been the correct picture. I think that majority of the fans felt that the club had to go. I'm even feeling that the club decided to take that next line of action because of the agitations from the fans here in Kumasi, especially. Because the moment they heard that the clubs had met and decided that together with the Normalization Committee, they were not going to go to Africa, they started, pointing accusing figures at the representatives of the club who were at the meeting, who could not fight to say that, hey, why don't you let our club go to Africa? Because, Gary, you know that Kumasi is a football hub. And Kotoko demand a lot of followers here in Kumasi. They command a lot of followers here in Kumasi. And we've been starting football for a while now. And so they felt that this was an opportunity for the club to, just grab it and let's get some football, some competitive football to watch, even in the absence of a domestic competition. And so I would say that majority of the fans wanted it, and they've got it now, and they are happy about the move from management. Indeed, a lot of them are very, very happy because if you monitor on Saturday morning, for instance, on our show, when we opened the phone line for them to share their thoughts, initially we had played the voice of Coach Malik Jaber, who had come to say that he was in disagreement with the club deciding to go on Africa. But a lot of them disagreed with him when we opened the phone lines. And so it tells you that majority of them wanted that, and they were happy with the first call that came from the policy analyst, Dr. Amos Sapong, just a day after the announcement that no club was representing Ghana in Africa, when he came out to say boldly that no, we have the right to go and we have to go.
Yeah, interesting. So what we've ascertained and established that the fans largely are behind this decision. What about those who say, maybe in Kumasi that was, but I know that here in Accra there were a section of fans who felt that yes, they do have the right, but this period of normalization or reform was a great time for Kotoko to sort out all its issues. You know that, even managerially, Asante Kotoko has had a few problems in the last couple of months. Financially, the club may not be in extremely good standing, and so there were those who felt that yes, they may have the right, but maybe not going this year will help to restructure things a bit until things are better.
Yes, indeed. They have a point. But if you monitor, for instance, the chief executive officer of the club, George Amwako, he said that, look, we need to, balance the two. We look at the wish of the fans, and we look at, as management or as we also take into consideration what the others are saying. When we put the two together on paper, it might sound reasonable that we don't go to Africa. But we look on the other side as well about what the fans want, what the fans need. And we have an executive board chairman who is telling us that, look, whatever you need for you to go to Africa, I'm ready to get it for you. I have the money. I have what it takes to let you go to Africa. So just make sure that you prepare the thing for me for you to go to Africa. Then they will fall on that. And then secondly, in the absence of a competitive or a domestic competition now, most of their sponsors are withdrawing. As we speak now, they don't have any financial sponsor like they used to have. Some banks sponsor them. Recently, they were able to sign a deal with Asamoah Water Company, and so they have something on water. But they have other major sponsors whose contracts are running out, and they feel that, look, in the absence of any competition at all, we might be losing all of them. And the management is saying that when we go out to go and secure sponsorship, the major question, sponsors who are willing to partner us are asking is that, so what mileage are we going to get? What are we going to get from you at this particular time when there is no competition going on? How do we get value for money? You understand? And so they feel that, look, yes, indeed, maybe we are not playing competitively, but we made some injections to the team. We are trying to strengthen. Coach Siki Akon has been given the opportunity to bring in some boys to watch them. And so if we are able to, for instance, Daniel Nieje is in town. He's going to join the team. There's this Kwesi Bonsu who joined in from Sweden. We also know that there's a Naby Keita boy who joined from Burkina Faso. Sonny Yakuba is also here. And so they are trying to strengthen the team as well and make sure that if they go to Africa, they will make a better impression. And so it's not just about the fact that we are not playing competitive games, and in recent times, when they go, they are unable to go beyond the preliminary stage of the competition. But they feel that, look, they need sponsors, they need to get money for the club, they need to have an effective club running. To do that, if an opportunity avails itself, then the best option is for us to grab it.
Right. Many thanks, Dalali Atiase, for giving us your thoughts on the matter. We'll be looking forward to more reactions, even as the campaign for domination begins as well. Dalali, thank you.
All right. Welcome, Larry.
This is the Joy Sports Tracks. Just getting off the line with Dalali Atiase of Love FM. And don't forget that we are still talking about the Normalization Committee and its decision to, allow or let Kotoko go to Africa like the club wanted. This show is proudly sponsored by 138.com. Register and bet with us to enjoy 200% bonus on your first deposit. It's www.138.com. This conversation continues after this break.
Beautiful flicks and tricks account for the goals and wins. When the tempers flare and the passion is in overdrive, where do you stand as a fan? It is time to turn your passion into some real cash. Monetize your shouts at 138.com, the newest and best sports betting and virtual gaming company in town. Sign up and enjoy 200% bonus on your first deposit on www.138.com/Africa. Experience live in play with unbeatable odds, endless markets, and prompt payment. Mobile money enabled with quick deposit and easy withdrawal. Visit any of our retail shops in Accra, at Alaju, Caprice, Jamestown, Taifa, Soweto, and Teshi. In Kaswa, at New Market, and Ufako. 138.com is licensed by the Gaming Commission of Ghana, and it is not for persons below age 18. Bet responsibly. Call 050-9138-138 for any inquiries. Join the winning team now. 138.com. Win every day.
Thank you for staying with us. The show is proudly supported by 138.com, and George Addo Jr. is in the studio with us. I mean, you got the soundbite from Dr. Kofi Amoah this morning. What we didn't play was the contradiction with lawyer Duadonting. First of all, I want us to start from there before getting the reaction from Kotoko fans, which of course we know is one of elation that they are going to Africa and at least we'll get some football. I am worried that the normalization committee are not taking charge and leading, in the sense that the communication does not seem to be on point. Because, I mean, how many members are you on the committee? 4?
There's 4.
And it's not the first contradiction we've seen. The whole asthma episode, you know, the apology that didn't come directly from Duadonting himself. And then this morning, I mean, something like this is something that they must all be on the same page on. How he came to say Mediama are going to Africa, and Dr. Kofi Amoah says that no, Mediama are not going to Africa. Sorry about that. And he said that his colleague's pronouncement was unfortunate, and it shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't happen in the first place. I think this is where we are, Gary. Maybe the lack of a true out-and-out football person on the committee is beginning to tell, because the normalization committee has replaced the executive committee and therefore has the powers to go ahead and decide what must be done. But that can only be done if the normalization committee is massively informed about what's happening and they know the whereabouts with respect to CAF statutes and all of that. I don't think it's a very good thing to see the normalization committee, falling back and trying to, in a bit, consult the clubs and trying to know whether they're taking the right decision and hoping that they don't step on any toes and hoping that they keep everybody happy. It's not possible. You have come in to normalize normalize things and get football back where it is. So you're expected to take charge and lead. In taking charge and lead, you have to be sure about what you come out with in terms of directives, and they have to be straightforward. If you're not going to Africa, you explain why you think no one is going to Africa, and you go. You do that in tandem with the rules that are available to you. But at this point, it's easy to say they don't really feel totally okay where they are. They feel like there are some loopholes here and there. People are likely to punch them back. And so they're trying to take this, let's have a consultative meeting. Let's talk together. Let's find a way. But there's no way to find a way with all these guys. I'm saying this because if they were not able to do what they were expected to do well, you don't go back to them. You're supposed to be leading and you're supposed to be showing what it is. So if they have not been doing this, I think that the normalization committee would need to quickly acquaint themselves with what the CAF statutes are with respect to what they need and going forward. There are even going to be, bigger issues to come when the Ghana Premier League should start, when the league, and there are more typical football issues they will have to deal with. So they have to quickly acquaint themselves. At the moment, I don't think they have acquainted themselves. And so that approach was to try and go down here. It doesn't feel like they are leading. It doesn't feel like they're leading. It doesn't feel like they're taking charge. And that is a big problem. Because look at all of this. The typical situation you have with our clubs, and this has not changed in the era before the normalization and now. You have a club owner staying or based in his town. You have a club rep being at a forum, normalization committee with the clubs and the reps. Then the rep agrees that I don't think we have to go to Africa. And the owner then says, who said you are not ready to go to Africa? I'm ready to go to Africa. It's a different, argument or different debate or discussion what we get into, whether Kotoko were thinking about Africa all this while, or somebody pushed them, like you're saying, the clubs, the fans pushed them and all of that. It doesn't really sit out there. So if we want to correct the wrongs, let's go right in doing it. The normalization committee is not supposed to be consulting. They spoke about ad hoc committees that they wanted to set up to work with them. This is the time they need those committees. They put their faith in them, and they give them the right information and the way to go. Normalization committee should come out and say, we're going this way because that's what we expect, and this is what will be right. Not come have a forum, the clubs come out and say, we want to go, then it turns around, then one member says that, then the chairman comes in and says, oh no, that was unfortunate, he said that, then it's looking uttered. And I'm really asking myself, where is Lucy Christian Odufule in all of this?
Yeah, because, one striking thing is that, first of all, you have Dan Kwekwe as the spokesperson.
Yes.
He's not in
so
town.
He's
in Germany
yeah.
at the moment
yes.
on a conference thingy.
Yeah.
But we know that some of the press statements have been signed by Lucy Christ.
Yes.
And then we've seen lawyer Diadontin speaking.
Sign, yeah.
And then we've now heard Dr. Kofi Amwa himself on radio speaking.
Yes. That's very reactive, you asked me.
Yeah.
It was very, very reactive.
You have 4 different people speaking. And I know for a fact that when they started their work, they wanted their communication to be centralized.
Yes.
So in the absence of this person, it's just 2 people speaking. But now, I don't know.
And that's what I felt they were not aware of. I don't want to go back to the lawyer Diadontin issue. And I said, okay, yeah, we've got a polarized media scape. If you talk about it, the landscape is polarized, whatever it is. You don't want to be reacting to everything that the media says. Yeah. And even when you want to react, you have to be careful. You don't jump into it. And it felt just like, no, he was probably listening to Asempa and had to come in and try and save things there. And as he was doing that, lawyer Diadontin also felt that he had to come in. So that they have to meet and say, okay, this is where we're going, and this is how we're going. Initially, the comments they made at the press conference and indicating that it's been all negative in the media also gave us a feel that, yeah, they're trying to feed off the negative energy in some of the media that they've been listening to. So it's a big problem there for me in the first place. The normalization committee truly must smack of a team that know what they're about. They know what they're about and where they want to go.
Right now when it comes to that.
Yes, at the moment, it doesn't feel like they have enough confidence. At the moment, it looks like they're hoping not to hurt anyone. And
but
and
you made a statement which you've just repeated in a way about the committee trying how to please everybody and asking the advice of too many people.
Yeah, too many.
But George, I tend to want to agree with them if that's what they want to do. After all, this normalization committee is about ideas. They can't change Ghana football alone. We have all said that, or what has necessitated the formation of this committee is the collective admission that there's a problem. And FIFA have said that these are the 4 people who are going to lead the change, but they are not the change. They don't have all the wisdom in their heads. So, George, if they don't consult,
that's why I asked
how can they? Yeah,
I asked for the ad hoc committees they spoke about. They have to be in place.
The subcommittees.
Yeah, but this open fire approach is not going to work because immediately you want to meet the clubs and you want to decide with the clubs. The same problem the old executives were having. It's the same problem they started having. Because you don't get the club owners coming for any meeting.
And they don't make this.
And the reps are really doing what they feel is right. They're powerless. So yes, they make you look very disorganized in the media. And that's how the normalization committee has looked, at least in the last 48 hours. They've looked very, very,
not in charge.
Yes, not in charge. And that's worrying. So if you need ad hoc committees, you have to put them up right now. And you get them advising you. Because remember that anything or any directive that the normalization committee comes up with, again, cannot just be, in vacuum. It must be in tandem with the rules. It must be in tandem with the statutes. It must make sense. It should not give the room for any club to want to go to court. So they have to be very informed in that. So the way they have to go is what they said, they ad hoc committees. So you consult with your ad hoc committees before you come out on anything. You don't want to be reactive and come on radio and try to hit fire. And we've got 2 or 3 members of the normalization committee wanting to speak at the same time. And I understand the issue with the spokesperson not around. But we can come with a press statement. There's so many other smart ways. Yeah. But running into a radio show, a hotspots radio show like we have on Asempa FM, it's very, very dangerous. And you're opening yourself to so much. But I know Dr. Kofi Amwa knows what it's about. But we need to get that feel that this is really working. At the moment, I am still not getting that at all.
27 minutes to the top of the hour. 27 minutes to 2 p.m. here on 99.7 Joy FM. This is the Joy Sports Track. We are just looking back at how Asante Kotoko have made their way to Africa, and they will be representing the country. The fate of Ashgold and Medeama, at least per Dr. Kofi Amwa, is unclear. Now, he has said this morning also that the reason why they will not make it is that, unlike Kotoko, they didn't write to the normalization committee to back their claims that they are supposed to go to Africa with any statutes. So all they are saying is essentially radio talk. They are just speaking in a vacuum. He mentioned that because Kotoko came with documents and they quoted the relevant CAF statutes, they had no, and his words were, what do we gain if we don't allow Kotoko to go? When the law is there. If Kotoko say they have money and they will go, of course, they should go. If it is something that is against the law or they are falling foul of the law, that is when they shouldn't go. So for those who have been asking why aren't Medeama and Ashgold going, and again...
Unless I'm wrong, but already... it even feels like the Medeama owner, Moses Amapaka, is contradicting.
He's also come on radio to say that they don't even have money to go to Africa.
PRO has been saying.
Yes. So
you see what I'm pointing out.
Yeah.
So the normalization committee must note this. They must note this because yes, the owner says I don't have money.
But the PRO says we're going to Africa.
We would like to fight it in court.
Yeah.
We're going to force the normalization committee to go. So that's not an area where you go to at all. So let's get the ad hoc committees working and let them, advise the normalization committee well before they come up with any of those directives. And that will save everybody. I think that will save everyone. Because all these chaos, and it's a different discussion. Yes, if we try to talk about the clubs and whether they were truly ready to go for Africa or they were doing anything that showed like they were going to Africa, you can't say anything about that really, because it's their point, and they feel like they want to go. It's their right, and they want to go to Africa, so they just want to go. The valid point for me in what Delali said was that they're losing sponsors. There's some money to make, and there's some business to cash in on. And
it's a commercial decision. And that's why I totally agree.
Yes.
Essentially, I also felt that, Kotoko, you don't have money. But the points they raise are
sell
very,
some
very
players
valid.
and get the sponsors, give them money.
Yeah.
Players can get some per diems. Makes sense.
That's true. Even officials themselves will get their travel allowances.
Yes.
And players themselves will get something to eat.
Makes sense to me, yeah.
That sort of makes sense. But it's going to be difficult. Benedict also just joined us. Club football is predicated on a weekly basis of action. Yeah. Playing in Africa is every twice a month or something.
Twice a month.
Yeah. Home and away fixtures.
In the new schedule, you have to play on weekdays.
As well. So that means they'll have to be playing a lot of local friendlies and things like that in their campaign. To be interested to see how Kotoko will fare. But your thoughts?
Well, I think Kumasi Asante Kotoko, first of all, asking that they want to play in a CAF Confederation Cup obviously means that they've done something right. They've checked their resources in terms of financing their trips across the continent, and also looking at the new technical team. Because first, I remember very well when we spoke to the communications director of the club. He made mention of the fact that they have, at this point, appointed a new manager. They've gotten some good players, and by virtue of the scene of the team currently in playing some friendly matches, they think that they have a very good team. Probably maybe they would have to make one or two additions to the rest of the team they have now, and he feels very, very much optimistic that they can do well when they go to Africa. In terms of money, they think that's not a problem. George Amakon has stated clearly that that's not a problem for the club.
The CEO also says that he has money available.
There's Dr. Che. He has also intimated the same.
The executive chairman, sorry.
Yeah, executive chairman, that they have money readily available if they are to go to Africa today. So, and one thing that works perfectly for Kotoko as well is that it's not just about playing in Africa. You look at the CAF Confederation Cup regulations. That's Article 1, Clause 6, states clearly that if there is no competition in that very year for a member association, what happens is that we use the previous competition, be it Kumasi Asante Kotoko,
the FA Cup winner or the league winner.
Yes, so the league winner. So in this instance, if Indiana Stars, who won last season's Ghana Premier League, had come out to also say that yes,
we want to go to Africa, they would have gone.
Fair deal. Indiana can also go. So Asante Kotoko have every right to say that they want to go to Africa. Now the bone of contention has been about whether they are ready or not. Now they say we are ready. We've appointed,
so that's it.
We have players. So I don't know why people should be discussing and be talking about how and whether they are prepared or not prepared. Let's leave it to them.
It's their money.
It's their money. You understand? And apart from it being their money, they have every legitimate right to play in Africa.
Yep.
You understand? And we've seen Kotoko play recently in friendly matches. They've been winning. They've been doing very well. And as Delali mentioned, Nieje, who has experience when it comes to playing on a continent, played with Asante Kotoko in the CAF Confederation Cup Champions League. Also won the championship with TP Mazembe. He's played there for quite a number of years, and he has experience. There's also Jordan Opoku in the team. Sonny Yakuba is also doing very well for the side. They have some good players.
And the Dutch guy who has come.
And Naby Keita is also in there. You understand? So in terms of quality of players to play in Africa, they believe they have, and I think that
I like you say they believe.
Yeah, they believe.
I think commercial reasons. I take it. Aside that, I don't know what Kotoko are up to.
Why, you don't want them to go?
No, they can go. I'm happy. I'm very happy they're going, and I want them to gain commercially.
As I said on my Facebook,
I mean, on the football side,
maybe financially they are ready, but as Wenger says, footballistically are they ready?
That's not in our place, really. It's not in our place.
Normally, the argument is that there's no competitive football here in Ghana.
Yes.
So you be what?
You be playing friendlies? Yes.
So it will just be like that of Indiana Stars, where they resorted to playing friendly matches and then playing competitive games, which obviously we all know what happened to Indiana Stars. But in their case, they think that, well, we can be training at Adaku Dachi. We don't need to actually play friendly matches and go and perform.
I think Kotoko go. They want to go. We have to let them go. We can't do anything about it.
We support them.
They go and score the commercial marks and come back. It's clear-cut now how to perform well in the Confederations Cup or the Champions League. We don't have any of those boxes ticked yet. That's only prediction.
The issue of Media Mercy as well.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to get Patrick Akuto on. So
will be interesting.
The PRO.
And definitely we'll get him.
Yeah, because the owner says
they don't have money to go.
And he says,
and he made some very salient points really on how to succeed in Africa. He didn't think they're close.
Akuto, Patrick confirmed that was last week that they had actually petitioned the normalization committee to play in Africa, because they felt that after that meeting, the consultative meeting that happened at Alisa Hotel between the clubs and the normalization committee, where they mentioned that they were not going to continue the league. What it meant was that Media Mercy, they were leading before the league went on break. The abrupt end of the league. So what it means is that Mediama, they have every right to play in the CAF Champions League. And now the owner comes and says that
they have money.
They don't have money. Hans Manson also joins us in the studio. Hi, Hans.
Hi, Gary.
Yeah.
It's a difficult, issue to discuss, really.
Is it?
It is, especially when you are done making the point and stating the fact that Kotoko have every right to say that they're going to participate.
Yeah.
It becomes a bottom line, really. Whatever else remains are personal opinions, and personally, I don't think Kotoko should be going, because clearly it will be a disastrous campaign. Now, I mean, sometimes we have to call a spade a spade.
Not a big spoon.
It will be all well and good. Kotoko go there, they make some money and all of that. But the reality is that, look, are they really genuinely, are they saying they are going to compete for the trophy?
No, they haven't said that.
So
I don't think they're competing for the trophy.
Then why are you going?
I'm sorry, but they're not competing for the trophy.
Right.
And only one person gets to win the trophy anyway.
So let me articulate some of the points being made by those who have heard this question. The fact that when you go to school, these are some of the points that people are making. You won't be first. You know that in a class of 30 people, look, first 10 you are not there. It doesn't mean you stop going to school.
Yeah.
Look,
not everybody will win that.
Teams like Bate Borisov, they've won the Belarusian league. 13 straight years. This is the 13th year that they are winning.
No impact in the Champions
League. They know they won't make any impact in the Champions League, but they are going
to make money. Yes.
Andorra and those people,
there's money to make.
They play Euro qualifiers all the time.
That's what I'm saying. It becomes a difficult issue to discuss, especially. But again, there can be that surprise element. We've seen countries where, by virtue of maybe the qualification standard,
not lately in the CAF.
For instance, Denmark in the 1992 Euros. I mean,
I remember that
they did not qualify.
They went in as on a bye.
Exactly,
and then they went to
a country that are qualified.
But not Africa.
You see,
not Africa.
But you see, there were circumstances around.
Yeah, and even not Africa.
They were half ready. People forget that.
I can say emphatically.
They were half ready.
It will not be Africa. No.
Well, maybe.
I'm
saying, I'm giving them the benefit of
George.
that.
Emphatic. No.
I'm giving them the benefit of that.
You don't trust Kotoko.
Personally, I don't think they should be going. They decided that, look, we have the money, we have the personnel, we have the confidence. We believe we can go out.
You don't trust Fabu.
I trust them to go and make money.
Gary, look,
we'll make money. That's fine.
Let's start doing a comparison.
Yeah.
You compete against the likes of TP Mazembe, Al-Ahly,
ESCT. But even with all their trophies, between them, there were 12 trophies between them, Al-Ahly and TP. I mean, they don't go every year knowing that. Okay, nobody can know that they'll win.
See,
But some people
know
go
that I am going to compete.
to quarterfinal, semi-final.
That is the question. I think that should be the basic standard. Can we compete? And that's the question you should be asking themselves.
Why you people you don't transfer?
We saw the Angolan side. Is it Augusto?
Premier de Augusto.
Can Kotoko beat them?
No, you see the story of Augusto.
I'm using them
Yeah.
as
Esperance.
I'm using them because they were probably a surprise element in the competition this season.
Surprise only in name.
Can Kotoko beat them? Therein lies the question.
You see,
if you can't beat the likes of Augusto, then forget.
No, but
because
even Augusto,
you won't beat Esperance. You won't beat
speaking
Alan.
of
You won't beat
Augusto.
TP Mazembe.
Yeah, you're speaking
you won't beat Orlando Pirates.
You are speaking of Augusto like Augusto. Look, get into Augusto. Augusto have gotten players who have won the Champions League before in their set. That's why they're doing well. Ferroviário, Maputo, Mozambique did the same and they went. So it's clear cut now. If you want to,
But Kotoko said they've got
They've got Jordan Opoku.
Jordan Opoku.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
I don't think
All right,
they should
it's
go
fine.
back.
But it's clear.
What kills the
What to do
argument
in
is
Africa?
this.
We know what to do.
Per the CAF statute, per the FA statute, they have every right to say that they are going to go. And so, we'll give them our support.
yeah.
But we are skeptical.
Go and make money.
We are really skeptical.
You should be worried.
And I hope they make money.
is it
they will make money.
Is it your money?
I seriously hope they make money.
They
because
start
you see,
making money.
It will be sad if you go and you're not able to really make an impact and you don't make money as well.
Oh,
So,
okay.
at the very least, they should go and make money.
Gary, they'll start making money once they've agreed they are going. The money is going to start coming. The sponsors will give money.
Okay.
They'll be paying for the players who have not really had a lot, how many. So there's going to be money. They'll go and play the competition. There will also be an opportunity to sell players.
It's good exposure.
It's commercial.
Exposure for the players.
It's strictly
And
commercial, this
hopefully,
one.
By the time they are done, when the league resumes, I want to see a Kotoko team that will brush everybody in the league aside because you've exposed your players to a higher competition. So come in and brush the rest of the park aside and win the league.
The thing that is lost in most Ghanaian discussions of issues are nuances, the nitty-gritty, the detail.
Yeah.
Think about it. You are playing every week in the Ghana Premier League, and so you are match sharp all the time before you go to Africa to compete. You are going to be playing in Africa. I was just trying to play the devil's advocate here, but here are my thoughts on the issue. You are going to play in Africa. You'll be playing every 2 weeks or so, and then it's going to be on weekdays as well. The travel schedule, flight issues. Which teams are you going to be playing in Ghana? How much fit are they? Heart of Oak. Heart of Oak, Adriana, Ashgold, all those teams. How can you get much fitness?
No problem.
But before we are branded haters.
I'm saying don't worry. It's commercial. So don't worry. That's fine.
Really?
I think it's a commercial adventure.
Sample is listening to our conversation.
Yeah.
I actually called him.
Okay.
He sent a message that I'm going to read the message. I asked him if
Sure.
He said yes. He says it's not about money, but the quality of football that will be exhibited if they go to Africa. Are we not thinking about the image of our dwindling? Yeah, obviously he's talking about what's happening.
I didn't want to go into that because, and that's why I said, the moment you mentioned that it is within their right, it makes nonsense of everything else.
Yeah, but Augustin's point is that
I don't even want to
image. So Kotoko are going to Africa. They are going there as what? They are going with the image of Ghana.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if Kotoko go to Africa and things
and do well
poorly,
it's Ghana.
It reflects on Ghana like it has reflected in the past many years.
So if that's the case, then we have to take the right away.
I think that was the point Dr. Kofi Amwa made.
Yes, and that's what he said.
He mentioned
you're not ready.
Things are not that well. We are all trying to get the level of our football to the level that we all want it to be, and then we think about participating in Africa and all those big competitions that we want to participate.
Some of us,
but
I can't really talk. I can't really talk
because we said it's their right to go. Yes. So it's difficult to say. Don't let them go. So we are saying it's their right.
For me, I'd rather go and look at the sort of campaign they are going to have. God forbid they have a terrible campaign. And as we are saying,
they will have a terrible campaign.
And it reflects poorly.
It's no good.
All of us as Ghanaians, it reflects poorly on Ghana football. Then I'll have a word for the Kotoko setup because, you see, I think they know the state of the team. I think they know the fact that we just appointed CK Akono as the coach. He needs time to be able to, put a team together and all of that. We've seen Ghanaian teams participate when the league is in session, and we see the performance they put up. Over the last few years, it's been nothing to write home. The last
maybe proper
performance was maybe in the Confederations Cup. Even then, how far did they go? You understand me? And so we had a situation where the league was in session, clubs were active and were not performing. Now there is no league, and you want us to believe that you are good enough to go and compete. By all means, go and compete because it's within your right. But God forbid you have a bad campaign. Some of us are really going to change.
Just says it's going to happen.
But
So
there's
yeah.
It's gonna
something we
happen,
have to
so
clarify
don't-
is
Yeah.
the Libyan teams have not been playing in their domestic league.
Yes, but they've been playing high-profile
That was-
international friendlies.
Exactly.
That was the point.
You understand? The Libyan teams, listeners must understand this.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
They fly out to go and play our Ali and friendly
Tell
and
them,
come
tell
back.
them. They go to
how
Dubai.
Many,
and
Yeah.
stuff.
How many times have we gone to Africa that we're not playing competitive football here in Ghana? It's not just the Diana Stars.
Yeah,
Okay, so Kotoko probably maybe the second
time.
to-
Yeah.
to go through this. They've started doing that. They played against Save Africa Child. They won.
You see what Benedict is
Wait.
let me-
Oh, Hans,
let me-
please, let me just digest.
Okay.
They played against who?
Save African
You see what
Child.
Benedict is doing?
And they won. They came from
see what they are doing?
What's he doing?
African
Like,
child.
You understand?
You see,
guys, what makes you
Oh,
think that?
Peter, let Benedict
yeah,
land.
what makes you think that if today Kumasi Asante Kotoko
Meet Alali.
they get to know
Yes,
the
Vita.
team they are going to play, and then say, okay, we are going to South Africa to play against Orlando Pirates before we head to wherever we are going to.
You play Alali.
So,
But you, this thing you are saying, is it going inside your
see,
ears?
see, you know, and we're saying that, look, and that nobody gets us wrong. When you talk about rights issues, they have the right. They can do whatever they want to do with their lives.
Well, what has,
When we do the analysis of what they can do in the competition, they will do absolutely terrible. They can only take advantage of the money they are going to make
So they
out
should
of
make
it.
the
The
money.
little money they are going to make out of it, and the opportunity to sell players.
Here's the final thing.
They
I'll say.
know better than we know. They are not prepared for this Africa
Okay.
thing.
Here's the final thing I'll say on this. Real
Yeah.
quick. Yes, we all concede the fact that they have every right to say they are going to compete. But you see, rights come with responsibilities. I hope they realize that.
You won't tell them.
not, we have,
They know.
you know what we are
Come
told by
preach
the
that to
good
them.
book. We all have the right to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be beyond Hokwain.
Yes.
And you will be beyond
Yes,
Efata.
yes. So we see how Kotoko go. But I tell
Anyway,
you, I mean,
good luck to us.
yeah, good luck. Good
But
luck.
we live in a world of principles. You know, when you reap, when you sow. I mean, you don't sow.
Yeah, the principles
cassava.
work. Yeah, the principles work
from-
99%. Yeah, you see, the principles work 99% of the time, and the miracles do 1%.
The 1%. So
Miracles
as
are
I
less
think of it, go and
Yeah.
let's see how you do. Anyway, on other issues, we want to leave the African Confederations Cup and Ghanaian issues, then go to Europe. Let's hear from this man what he had to say last week or so.
If you're expecting to see a downcast, crestfallen coach, you shouldn't look this way. On the contrary, I'm excited, ambitious, and I can't wait to win this game, playing in a great match.
His name is Lopetegui. His job may be on the line. If you believe the Spanish outlet, the big one, Marca, it says that he will go by the end of today or tomorrow. Barcelona handed a drubbing to Real Madrid. Sergio Ramos said afterwards that everything is not about technical know-how. Sometimes it's about the dressing room. Talk about the backhanded shade. You know, if it were on social media streets, we say shade Muking Kong. Yeah, so it seems that all is not well. But Real Madrid will form the last 6 minutes of our discussion. Hans, I mean, I saw you following the Clásico as well.
Yes, he's a goner. I mean, I'll really be surprised if by the end of today the announcement doesn't come in. Then it will probably not be Real Madrid. Look, it's one thing losing to
Emilio Butragueño said last week when he was asked that will Lopetegui be in the job if he loses the Clásico, he mumbled yes. He even didn't sound convinced with what he was saying.
And one
it's one thing
Castro
losing to
from
the
Marca also
Levantes
says he's
and the
going.
likes, but when you get beaten thoroughly like that, after losing to
all those other
teams, I mean, you are gone. And I think he hasn't, the shade that Ramos threw, he lost the dressing room. I think he didn't really manage to be able to handle the personalities in the dressing room. He hasn't really been able to get the best out of the players at Real Madrid, and that's a problem. I always knew, and it's one argument I don't even want to introduce, the Cristiano Ronaldo rhetoric. It was always going to be a problem, but you see, it was a problem that had to be managed, and I think that a more experienced manager could have handled it, better than the Lopetegui has handled it.
Well, Gareth Bale said that the team was united. I remember Isco said no no Ronaldo, no problem.
You think
You know, and so, yeah.
I mean, the problem of the goals not coming is fine, but again, you look at the play. The coach's decisions when he took over the team was crucial, and when he wanted to change a squad that was winning, a winning squad, a team that had won a lot. And I'm sure his plan was just to get hungrier boys on to want to play for him. But he did that, stepping on the toes of guys who felt that they're in the Hall of Fame of Real Madrid. And once you do that, you're in trouble. So he introduced a few new guys.
Which brings me to the point. I mean, Fifi Forson joins us in the studio. He watches La Liga a lot. George is making a point. George is making a point about
bringing in the young boys,
some basically untouchables.
Untouchables, yes, touching.
Is it a problem also that people like Benzema, I mean, they don't have any motivation, so they need a manager who's going to fire up their imagination again?
Of course, and just now I was reading a piece on Marca, and they were detailing his mistakes he made, and one of them was the fact
whose mistakes?
Lopetegui's mistakes, and one of the fact that he failed to motivate these guys, Benzema, Bale, Varane. All these guys, they've won everything, and their performance this season has been appalling, and he still stick with them, and they are not playing so well, and that has bin one of the mistakes Lopetegui has made, and it's going to cost him dearly. Yesterday, if you watch the game very well, Nacho was poor at the right back position. He did not change him. What's the name? Ramos was terrible.
Was all over the place.
Varane was just gifting the penalty gifted to Suarez. He was just unpardonable for a World Cup winner like Varane. It tells the state Real Madrid are in right now. The players are not playing. They are not playing so well, and the coach is also not doing so well. The coach is not telling the players how to fight, and in the second half they came back with a fight back. What happened? That was because he changed. He made some substitution, but they were crying for a second substitution, and Lopetegui was just not.
There is the theory that the issues run deeper than the manager himself. But Zidane did say that, look, when he was leaving, he gave hints severally, and he said openly that this team is in a decline. It needs freshening before leaving.
It needs freshening, and they did that. If you tell Florentino Perez this team needs freshening, and he brings in a new manager is a new atmosphere, and he wants the new manager to create a new atmosphere.
What about the players?
The players, but if there is a new manager, the new manager can.
You see Zidane's point, and let me go on to the other thing he said. He said that last season they won the Champions League back to back, but he said that his point was that when they were playing the teams in the bottom six, he could tell from the players' eyes that they were not interested. It was only when they came against the big opposition that they were interested. And you can't win a league without beating the smaller teams of the league. You know what I mean?
Gary,
so he needs players to compete with these guys.
Yeah.
To compete with Benzema. Make them not feel untouchable.
This is why they have to sack him. Now this is why they have to sack the coach. You know why? Because you went white. Play against that blue and red in front of this crowd. No Lionel Messi. Now sack that coach now. You know why? I think he tried to use those young boys, but he didn't do it well.
He tried.
He didn't know. He attempted, but he didn't do it well. And then went back to them on this big game. And they really taught him a big lesson there. Now watch Zidane. And now we understand the man management of Zidane. Zidane could pull Ronaldo off.
Exactly what I was coming.
He could pull Ronaldo off, put somebody on. He managed the team. When the team looked like they were not interested, he had a side B that was playing La Liga and a side A that were playing the Champions League. Now this man started bringing the likes of Ceballos and when he had the big boys began to complain, he says, okay, let me just go back to it. He didn't know what he was about. Really.
Not only the big boys. Remember we had a discussion. We had a heated argument
in the newsroom.
In the newsroom, when I was talking about Ceballos and how he was trying to feed out Modric and the big guys.
I remember that.
I remember that. When you go about it, stick with it. It's the way you go about it.
Let Fifi make its point. Yes.
I pointed out that Ceballos and the young boys who are playing are doing so, but you were just not agreeing with me that Modric.
And I still disagree with you.
No, I still disagree on that.
Your point
it's the way you go about it.
But your point in the newsroom. Let me just remind
that is not broken.
No, let me just remind listeners.
It's gradual.
Let me just say what Fifi wanted to say. He was saying that Modric. Let me choose my words carefully.
Out of form.
Yes, you were saying Modric was out of form, and you used the word old.
Yes.
and that is what I personally disagree with.
Yes, and Gary, I was saying you don't because you want to change the face, tell Modric to sit and watch Ceballos play a game. No, you know how to go about it. You have to know how.
I've been looking at his dossier, Lopetegui, in terms of the teams he's managing. Clearly, what is lacking is his man management skills. Look, from Spain's under 17 as an assistant, Raul Vallecano, also in 2003, Real Madrid B, Spain under 19, Spain under 20, Spain under 21, Porto, Spain, Real Madrid. So he hasn't really handled a team where he's had to handle big personalities, and that has been the problem for him, clearly.
I see. If you want to say something to end, you think it's his fault?
Of course, he has to go. Losing 5-1 to Barcelona. No, you take it back to the 5-0 against Mourinho's Real Madrid. This was not... The Barcelona performance yesterday was nowhere compared to what they put up in 2010. But Real Madrid were whitewashed, and I think he has to take the blame. First half, Real Madrid were poor. They were not
in the game
at all. Second half, they put up a fight, but they just went to sleep again, and Barcelona capitalized and they won.
All
so
right.
To go has to go.
We'll see how that story evolves. On this issue of the normalization committee, you can follow the updates on myjoyonline.com because it will not finish anytime soon. This show, that's the Joy Sports Track, is brought to you by Bet138.com. Feel the taste of better odds, endless market, and prompt payment. They've got live in-play betting as well. Enjoy our unbeatable odds boost for all major leagues and Champions League matches. 138.com is licensed and regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Log on to www.138.com. Please note that it's not for persons under 18 and bet responsibly. My name is Gary L. Smith. Many thanks to Benedict Owusu Dankwa for joining us, together with George Ado Jr., Hans Mensah Andor, and Fifi Force. And also thanks to Akumase-based Delali Atiase as well. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye, and thank you for listening.